She is a unique chef, and customers are never gods in her eyes. Just because a customer complained that the steak was overcooked, she immediately stabbed a piece of raw beef and stormed over with fierce determination.
Rare enough for you?
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, that's why I'm in therapy.
I'm so sorry.
The owner quickly apologized and asked her to replace the tablecloth for the customer, which once again ignited the woman's anger. Kate is a top-tier chef with an annual salary of $1 million, and her status in the restaurant is extremely prominent. Even the owner, Paula, has to tread carefully around her. Although Kate has a fiery temper, it doesn't affect the customer's fondness for her, simply because her cooking skills are exceptional and she strives for perfection in everything. She cannot tolerate any mistakes in her work, so without her, the restaurant cannot operate properly. But little did she know her position would soon be taken by someone else. One day, while Kate was busy in the kitchen as usual, she suddenly received the devastating news that her sister Christine had been in a car accident. Kate rushed to the hospital in a panic, only to find her sister had already passed away, leaving behind her niece Zoe lying alone in the hospital bed. When Zoe woke up and learned of her mother's death, she was overwhelmed with grief, tears rolling down her cheeks like broken pearls. Even the usually stern and rigid Kate couldn't hold back her tears this time. Faced with this sudden tragedy, Kate decided to stay at the hospital to take care of Zoe. But the restaurant fell into chaos without its sole chef. The staff whispered among themselves, speculating about who could replace Kate. Just when everyone was at their wits' end, Kate, weary and full of sorrow, returned to the familiar kitchen. She quietly put on her uniform and got back to work, but the noise and commotion in the kitchen felt like a swarm of mosquitoes biting at her heart. The cooking that once enchanted her now seemed to have lost its magic. When Kate finally had a moment to read her sister's last words, tears streamed down her face once again. The letter was written by Christine after Zoe's birth, filled with endless wishes and expectations. Christine confessed that if she were ever gone, her greatest hope was for Kate to take care of Zoe in her place. In this world, Kate was the only one who could provide Zoe with a warm haven, as the two sisters were each other's only family, besides Zoe. Yet fate was cruel. Her only remaining relative had left her in such an abrupt way. Paula watched through the window as Kate broke down in grief, her heart filled with pity. She quickly walked into the cold storage room, firmly took Kate's hand, and advised her to let go of work and take a week to rest, to adjust her weary state. Kate followed Paula's advice. During her break, Kate brought Zoe home and did her best to provide her with constant companionship. But Zoe was like a bird with injured wings, listless and depressed, losing all her former vitality. Even the delicious fish Kate carefully prepared couldn't spark Zoe's appetite. Zoe just glanced at it indifferently, before silently retreating to her room. This made Kate wonder if she was truly capable of taking care of her niece. The psychologist suggested that she prepare some delicious yet simple lunches for Zoe, like fried frozen vegetarian food. But Kate decisively rejected the suggestion, as her and her sister's childhood was full of hardship, and those frozen foods were their reluctant choice to fill their stomachs. She would never let Zoe's childhood repeat that kind of plight. Soon, the week-long break ended, and Kate returned to the restaurant as usual. But as soon as she entered, she noticed something strange. The restaurant was unexpectedly bustling with unprecedented energy. When she stepped into the kitchen, she discovered the reason. A new head chef had arrived. This chef was the polar opposite of Kate's cold and aloof demeanor. He was humorous, easygoing, and played cheerful music while working. Under his lead, the staff sang along happily as they worked. Kate stared at the new chef with confusion and unease. For the first time in her life, she felt her position was under threat. Little did she know, this man would completely change her life. Kate immediately confronted Paula, insisting that her kitchen didn't need such a madman. However, Paula had a completely different view. She believed the kitchen should not always be lifeless, but needed a spark to ignite the passion in every employee's heart, making the entire kitchen vibrant and full of life. Paula also informed Kate that Nick was a rising star in New York's culinary scene, highly sought after by many five-star restaurants.
Why didn't he take it?
Because he said he wanted to work with you.
Still, Kate remained unimpressed by Nick. Nick, being perceptive, noticed this and, in an effort to improve their relationship, prepared his signature pasta for Kate. But Kate coldly replied that she never ate lunch. Rejected, Nick felt slightly embarrassed but still approached Kate and said,
My grandmother whispered this recipe into my ear on her deathbed. She brought it over from the old country, and I made it especially for you today.
Happy?
Very happy.
To draw a clear line, Kate split the task list in half, emphasizing they should stay out of each other's way. But Nick didn't seem to mind. He continued hovering around Kate. While she was focused on plating her culinary art, Nick deliberately got too close, causing her to lose concentration and ruin the presentation. At that moment, Kate's long-suppressed anger exploded.
This is my kitchen. I've worked really hard to get here, and I'm not going to let you take it away from me, okay?
And what makes you think I want to take it away from you?
What else could you possibly want?
This was exactly what she had feared. From the day Nick entered the kitchen, she knew friction was inevitable. Losing control of her emotions, Kate hid in the cold storage room, trying to cool down in the icy environment. To her surprise, Nick followed her inside.
I can work wherever I want. I'd like to work here because it's an honor to cook with you. But I'd rather work somewhere I'm welcome. So if you want me to go, you just say the word.
Feeling Kate's rejection, Nick grew disheartened and even considered quitting. When the co-workers learned of this news, they all expressed deep reluctance. After learning about Nick's thoughts, Kate was overwhelmed with guilt. She let go of her prejudice and took the initiative to ask him to stay.
I want you to stay.
You're on fire.
After work, Kate returned home and found Zoe asleep in bed with the TV on. She gently tucked her in. Noticing the open photo album on the nightstand, Kate realized Zoe had been missing her mother all along, while she had been too busy to provide enough companionship. Following the psychologist's advice, she prepared fried vegetarian snacks the next morning and tried to talk to Zoe. Worried she couldn't spend enough time with Zoe, Kate decided to bring her to the restaurant after school. Zoe's arrival instantly became the talk of the staff. During a casual chat, Kate mentioned Zoe had no interest in her cooking. Nick quietly took note. He made a bowl of his signature pasta, sat next to Zoe, and ate it with exaggerated enjoyment to catch her attention. Then he pretended to step away, asking Zoe to watch over the pasta for him. The inviting aroma of the pasta was irresistible to Zoe. She couldn't help but taste a bite, then quickly devoured it. Kate happened to witness this scene. At the end of the workday, Kate gently picked up the already sleeping Zoe and, before leaving, specially wished Nick good night. From then on, Zoe became a frequent visitor to the kitchen. Nick taught her how to identify different vegetables and even danced with her, sharing joyful moments. Under Nick's influence, the shadows in Zoe's heart gradually faded. Meanwhile, the relationship between Kate and Nick was quietly evolving, their barriers slowly dissolving. They started exchanging small talk during breaks. What's more remarkable is that the usually diet-conscious Kate, under Zoe's clever guidance, began to sample Nick's meticulously crafted dishes. She not only enjoyed them, but also praised Nick's skills. Sensing Nick's hidden feelings, Zoe asked Kate if Nick could cook a special Italian feast for her birthday. Kate relayed the request to Nick.
I'll do the shopping.
On the day of the celebration, Nick arrived with bags of ingredients. Zoe eagerly tied on an apron, ready to assist him. When Kate tried to help, Nick playfully shooed her out of the kitchen. Once everything was ready, Zoe knocked on Kate's door and mischievously asked her to take off her shoes and close her eyes. When Kate opened them, she was greeted with a surprise, a vibrant African-themed dinner. They sat together like a real family. After the meal, they played lighthearted games until Zoe fell asleep, and Nick carried her to bed like a father. The rest of the evening belonged to Nick and Kate. As they tidied up, they shared stories about their pasts. In a relaxed moment, Nick casually asked about Kate's romantic history. Kate didn't avoid the question. She confessed her only relationship had ended 4 years ago, when her boyfriend wanted them to move in together and demanded she give up her apartment. But Kate couldn't accept it. Due to the shadows cast by her upbringing, she had always struggled to build a sense of security and couldn't open her heart entirely to a partner. She longed to retain a private space for herself, while fearing abandonment would leave her with nowhere to turn. Nick didn't press further. Instead, he brought out the tiramisu he'd prepared and offered her a taste. Though Kate claimed she wasn't fond of sweets, she couldn't help but praise it after one bite. A bit of cream lingered on her lips and Nick gently wiped it away. Then, licked it off his finger. The atmosphere between them grew electric, an unspoken tension pulling them closer. By the glow of the fireplace, their heartbeats seemed to sync. And so, on this warm night, they confirmed their feelings for each other. From then on, their lives were filled with sweet happiness. Whenever the bustle of work faded, they would open a bottle of fine red wine in the kitchen, letting the subtle fragrance and slight intoxication deepen their understanding of one another. During leisurely holidays, they would stroll through bustling streets with Zoe, capturing precious moments of family time. Or they would head to bustling markets together, selecting fresh ingredients to prepare for the culinary delights to come. These changes breathed new life into Kate's existence. But just as their little family grew closer, professional tensions arose. As Nick's talent gained more recognition, the once peaceful kitchen became fraught with undercurrents. Paula even approached Nick privately, offering him Kate's position. But Nick hesitated, mindful of Kate's feelings. Paula, however, saw Nick as the rightful head chef. She praised him publicly while unintentionally sidelining Kate, as if she no longer mattered. Even during service, Paula often asked Nick to showcase his skills without acknowledging Kate's contributions. Despite this, Nick remained attentive to Kate's emotions, but felt powerless.
Nick, the couple at table 8 wants to say hello. They're drooling over the sea bass.
Kate's responsible for all the food.
Well, she won't mind. She hates leaving the kitchen.
Interesting. What else can you tell us about her?
You know what? I'm not going to get into this. I don't care who goes out there, but if it is you, do me a favor and try not to stab anyone who complains.
After hearing these words, Kate finally realized Paula's dissatisfaction towards her, which stirred an indescribable emotion in her heart. After Paula left, Kate quickly pulled Nick into the storage room.
Why didn't you have the guts just to run your own kitchen, Nick? Instead of coming in here and taking over mine.
Is that what you think?
That's exactly what I think.
Play this agitates me. I gotta put the quill on pan.
You know, Kate, it's okay to let people in sometimes.
Facing the accusations, Nick decided to resign to prove his innocence. Kate had spent years guarding her heart. Nick's warmth had opened it, but it remained as fragile as a mimosa. When Kate returned home, a voicemail from Nick struck her like thunder.
Oh, and for the record, I did turn her down.
At that moment, Kate realized she had misunderstood Nick, but her pride made it difficult for her to initiate an apology. Meanwhile, Paula reprimanded Kate for her rashness and demanded she find Nick's replacement immediately. Over the next few days, Kate interviewed countless chefs, but none met her standards. Zoe also noticed something was off and asked Kate why she hadn't seen Nick for so long. Kate honestly explained that they had a quarrel, which saddened Zoe, leading her to retreat to her room. However, the next morning, an unexpected incident occurred. Zoe was missing. At that moment, Kate fell into a panic, desperately running into the streets hoping to catch a glimpse of Zoe, but it was all in vain. As hope dwindled, Kate thought of Nick, trembling as she dialed his number. After hearing the news, Nick was filled with anxiety, quickly meeting up with Kate and comforting her. Together, they combed through parks and playgrounds, but Zoe was nowhere to be found. Kate's guilt and regret surged like a tidal wave. After returning home, she searched the room anxiously, her eyes landing on just the toys on the bed and an open photo album. At that moment, Kate suddenly understood. Clearly, Zoe missed her mother. Without hesitation, they drove straight to the cemetery, finally spotting Zoe's lonely figure.
Sweetheart, what is it?
I'm afraid I'm going to forget her.
Nick drove them home safely. As the car stopped, Zoe eagerly invited Nick inside, but he politely declined. Before he left, Kate finally poured out her heart. She apologized sincerely for her hurtful words and asked him to return to work. But Nick revealed he'd already accepted a new job as head chef at a 5-star restaurant in San Francisco. Kate smiled and sent her best wishes to Nick, but behind that smile lingered an unspeakable bitterness and helplessness. When they parted, they simply shook hands, and the words of retention turned into regrets, left unspoken. Thus, they completely lost touch in each other's lives. Yet, after losing Nick, Kate felt unmotivated at work. This led to customer complaints about steaks being overcooked. Kate's anger exploded suddenly. She stabbed a piece of raw meat and stormed over.
Rare it for you?
You out of your mind?
Yeah, that's why I'm in therapy.
I'm so sorry. I'll get you.
Paula quickly stepped in to apologize and had Kate change the tablecloth for the customer. reigniting Kate's fury once more. That day, Kate resigned. Lost and confused, she sought advice from her psychologist. After listening, the doctor spoke with deep sincerity.
What I was going to say was, you know better than anyone. It's the recipes you create yourself that are the best.
The therapist's words struck deep in her heart, illuminating her understanding. Kate has always confined herself to a narrow world, overly immersed in the vortex of work and her own emotions, neglecting the feelings of those around her and never truly confronting her inner desires. Life is a long journey. We must look ahead, but also appreciate the scenery along the way. At that moment, Kate made up her mind. She would find Nick, the man she couldn't stop thinking about.
I think you should know there's something else I never do. I never invite myself into a man's apartment, blindfold him and feed him saffron sauce, while begging him not to go to San Francisco.
It's too bad.
In that instant, time seemed to freeze, and they released their past entanglements, dissipating the misunderstandings in their hearts, awakening the love that had been buried deep within. Soon after, Kate and Nick turned their shared dream into reality, opening a restaurant brimming with love and warmth, named after the three of them. This name wasn't just a simple label, but a sanctuary for the soul, a warm place to weather the storms of life.